December is almost here, and the NFL playoffs are almost here. When you look at the playoff picture as a whole, both the AFC and NFC are very, very competitive, and a lot more competitive than they have been the past couple of years. When I look at this, I definitely think there are some neat scenarios I want to look into that for a team to potentially make a playoff push right here. And some of them are much more epic than others. But let's get started. Let's start out with first with the AFC, the Bills. I think if the Bills get the next 4 out of 5 wins, they can definitely get in. I think if you split with New England down the stretch, yes, the Buffalo Bills will be playing the New England Patriots twice in the next 5 weeks. And obviously, that definitely seems a little bit odd for the AFC, but we've seen this before. And I definitely feel as if that the Bills will have to win 4 out of the next 5, which is definitely possible. They faced the Dolphins twice. I believe they also faced the Colts, and sure, they faced the Patriots twice, but they can definitely split with the Patriots this year and all of that. But obviously, you gotta look at it. 4 out of 5 might seem unlikely, but let's just say they get 3 out of 5. You're looking at a 9-7 record, which isn't that bad, and it isn't too shabby to make the play. Next, you got the Bengals. Now, the Bengals, I definitely see that the next 4 out of the 5 are losses for them. The one that's not a loss is the Bears and all that, but they're facing obviously the Steelers, which is definitely not an easy opponent for them. They're also facing the Ravens. It's not easy for them and all that, and they're also facing the Vikings. So that's definitely going to be quite rough for them. I definitely feel like they're going to beat the Bears and all that, but I definitely see 4 out of 5 losses for them. Next one to look at is the Raiders. Now, the Raiders definitely have been a little bit of a disappointment this year, and I talked about them. I've definitely talked about them highly on this channel. I definitely do. I thought they were going to be a 12-win team and all that, but I've talked about them potentially being a fake team. And before the season started, I would say like a week or 2 weeks before the week started, I made a video about the fake teams in the NFL. So you want to look at nostalgia, click down the link below. But the Raiders are definitely a team, and when you look at their schedule, the schedule doesn't seem that challenging. I definitely look at the Eagles. I think the Eagles will be an L right there. But the Giants, that's a win right there. Cowboys can definitely be a win. Chargers can definitely be a win. And the Chiefs can definitely be a win. And if you get 4 out of 5, I believe that would make them 9-7, 10-6. But if they get that, that definitely will look good for them. And I think they can make the playoffs. Next one I want to talk about are the Broncos. Now, the Broncos obviously 3-8. This is highly unlikely. They obviously are going to have to clean shop to make the playoff push right here. But let's look at this. Let's look at the teams that they're going up against. Dolphins, Colts, Chiefs, Jets, and Redskins. To me, those you can win all those games with the Broncos. I definitely think. Now, the Broncos are definitely not hot right now. They're far from hot, but if they can clean shop against pretty bad opponents, I mean, definitely the Chiefs are good, but they're not so hot right now. And the Redskins, they're up and down. The Redskins are up and down, but the Jets, the Colts, and the Dolphins can be a win right there. Obviously, they're probably going to finish off the season 6-10, but it's a potential. It's a potential if they could clean shop right here and they could get an 8-8 record. Unlikely, but they can clean shop. Another team I want to look at is the Houston Texans. Now, the Houston Texans, the reason why I put them in here is because I just think that they're not going to make the playoffs, but I definitely want to consider Bill O'Brien because I remember in 2015 he had all this like quarterbacks going around. I believe he had like 4 starting quarterbacks in the season. He made the playoffs and honestly all of that. And I think he can carry the load with Deshaun Watson and whatnot. And I definitely look at that. And that's definitely a good resume on Bill O'Brien's turn. But when you look at this, the Texans defense is not the same without Watt, Merciless, and Jonathan Joseph's up there in age, and they don't got AJ Boye. So that's a slight concern right there. Just a slight concern. Now let's talk about the NFC. Now, when it comes to the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks, out of all the teams in this playoff picture, are the ones that most likely make the playoffs. Now, I still think they have a quality defense, and their offense is doing pretty well out there. Russell Wilson's definitely doing a pretty good job of carrying them. So obviously, they are the ones likely. They got an interesting schedule and whatnot. I think they got to face the Eagles this Sunday. That's probably going to be a loss. But they also got the Cowboys, interesting. But let's just say go 3 out of 5. I believe that's 9-7, which I think is not a bad thing to make the playoffs, but I think it's definitely possible for them to hit a wild card spot here. I think the Rams are going to win the division here and there, but definitely possible to make the playoffs. Next one, you got the Lions. I definitely think the Lions can make the push simply because about the Packers' woes. And let's just see how long the Vikings can stick at only 2 losses on the season. I think they're going to get like 1 more loss on the schedule, maybe 2 more losses on their schedule. But I definitely think the Lions could easily make the playoffs. Obviously, they made the playoffs last week 9-7. And also Aaron Rodgers is out. So that's definitely a plus right there for the Lions. Next one we got is the Green Bay Packers. Now, the reason why I want to talk about the Packers is they could definitely go 4-1 down the stretch is because they don't really have that difficult schedule. They're gonna face the Browns. I mean, that's should be a win right there. I mean, it could be the Browns' only win of the season. Who knows? But since the Packers are coming off of a hot loss against the Steelers, yes, I said a hot loss, but to be honest, it's not a bad loss by the Packers right there. They had no business of staying even that close to the Pittsburgh Steelers right there. And Hundley did not look as bad as he looked in prior weeks. So let's just see. They're going to have to clean it up. They're going to have to – I think they're going to lose to the Buccaneers, but they can definitely beat the Panthers and whatnot. And, yeah, sure, they're facing the Vikings for the last game of the season, but that might be when Aaron Rodgers comes back. So let's look at the Packers. I think that's definitely an interesting team to look at in the hunt. Next one is the Cowboys, and the 2 most difficult opponents are the Seahawks and the Eagles. Right now, they're 5-6. Let's just say if you give them the W right now, I believe they're winning right now. I haven't been watching the game, but I believe they're winning right now. And let's just say you give them the double. Let's just say they go 6-6. Their most difficult opponents are the Eagles, which I definitely think that's going to be a loss for them. Then they got the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks I find to do poorly against teams with good offensive lines at times. Doesn't mean that's something I saw throughout the season against a team with good offensive line. Seahawks haven't exactly performed as well. And obviously, I know the Cowboys aren't great. I think the Cowboys-Seahawks game is definitely a game I want to tune into, but it's definitely a difficult win for the Cowboys to pull off. Definitely possible, though, if you go for that formula, that offensive lines will help you against facing Seattle. So that's definitely something to look at. Then you've got the Redskins. Now, the Redskins, they might lose tonight. Right now, they're losing. It'll be 5-7. They definitely have to go win, I think, 4 out of the next 5, and that's going to be very difficult. But they do got the Giants, so that's a win right there. So they're at least not going to go under 6 wins this season. But I definitely think an 8-8 record, but I don't think that can be good enough. All of that. So the Redskins team, a little bit exploited. They're a streaky team and whatnot. So not so sure about the Redskins. Then you got the Cardinals. Now the Cardinals have a pretty favorable schedule, but they have to win the next 3 out of 5. I got them losing to the Rams this week. I definitely do, just because the Rams usually do well against the Cardinals, or at least as recently they've done well against the Cardinals. And then you got the Seahawks, which are definitely a team that the Cardinals definitely do play well, and it's just because it's a divisional opponent. You always have that one divisional opponent that plays a great opponent very well. Cardinals are that team that play very well against the Seahawks and whatnot, so that's definitely something to look at. And there's some other teams on the list, like the Jets, the Dolphins, the Colts, the Buccaneers, and the Bears. I don't think it's likely for any of those teams to make the playoffs, but if you want to hear my opinion, comment down below. And I also want to hear your guys' opinion, so please comment down below. What do you guys think of the in the hunt pick in the part of the playoff picture? So, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.